It's not too bad for 3.5 hours of it, but then it's over the rivers and through the woods. To grandmother's house we go a little bit. You know, it's 2-lane, it's hills. It's like going to Bloomington, only I'd say 5 times as hilly and 2-lane. It's one of those ones where you have your GPS on, but I had to print the directions because the GPS down there would go off.
It's very rural, but it's full of a lot of great people. You know, it's kind of that Mayberry feel. You know, I guess the best way I can describe it. Of course, some people seeing this may not have a clue what I'm talking about with Mayberry, but you know, it's that small town feel where you know everybody. You know, you go through town and everybody's waving at you. You go in the restaurant and 4 or 5 people are talking to you, visiting with you.
288 miles, 5 hours and 20 minutes, give or take. The distance between Terre Haute, where Tyreke Key is about to begin his junior season in a Sycamore uniform, and the place where it all started.
I remember years ago he was in elementary school and I would see him riding his bike up and down the road, dribbling a basketball while riding the bike, and it always kind of intrigued me as to, you know, this kid, he either just doesn't have anything to do or he's really working on getting better.
Well, I guess the first time I ever met Tyriq was actually when I had his older sister, Sharice, as a student, and he would tag along with his mom when they were coming around for parent-teacher conferences and everything. And he was always just this quiet, respectful kid that was there hanging out, and Sharice always jokingly warned us about him that someday he'd be up here causing trouble, but that never happened.
My sister kind of made me fall in love with it. I used to be a baseball guy, and you know, she quit basketball and played softball, and then we switched. So it just kind of, after that, I just kind of fell in love with it and just stuck with it and just kept playing.
For Coach Edwards, he knew early that Tyriq wasn't your normal player.
Probably between his freshman and sophomore year, just seeing the improvement and how hard he worked at it. Not just him, but the group of guys that were with him in his class. They were always hounding me about wanting in the gym all summer, and you know that was unusual to have kids wanting in the gym all summer long. The first game of his sophomore year, we ran a play that I'd tried to run for 15 years and never had a kid able to catch alley-oop and dunk it. And we ran that the first play of the first game of his sophomore year, and he went up, caught the ball, and dunked it. And you know that's pretty common in a lot of places, but it's not very common in Clay County.
The great memories I made here in high school, and just having fun with all my friends and coaches, and you know, the last couple years I was here, we went to the state tournament, and just making big runs like that is something I always remember.
Tyriq and that team and Coach Edwards, they transformed that community. They really had, you know, and I'd been there before, but I was never at a game. So to come up there and to see him tailgating at a high school game and a tournament, well, not a tournament game, but his last game of the year, and I'd heard about the crowds. There wasn't an empty seat in that place, and going in there and being there, and I get chills just thinking about it right now.
Once he became prominent as a high school player, not just with kids in our community, but kids in other communities would come to watch him play. And after the game, he was the type of kid that he didn't leave the locker room and go out to his car and go drive around town. He would leave the locker room, he'd go out to the gym floor, and he would talk to anybody.
I stood there for 2 hours after this game. I've never seen anything like it. He took pictures, shook hands, signed autographs with every person in that gym that wanted to. That's what makes Tyriq so special.
Tyriq will say he's 50% city boy, 50% country boy, but 100% mama's boy. Susan Key, who spends most of her time at Ollie's place, never misses a single Sycamore home game.
Well, of course, Wednesday is my day off here at work, so that clears me up from a Wednesday game. Saturday I take off, I have somebody fill in for me, and just, I don't know, I just gotta see him play. It's just something I gotta do.
She comes to every home game, drives about 5.5 hours. You know, I know it's a tough drive, and she makes it even in the snow sometimes. So, you know, I know even driving in the morning is always tough. So I know, especially driving back home 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and even having to work the next day is extremely tough. So I don't know how she does it, but you know, she's a pretty great woman.
She's been there all the way through, you know, from as long as I can remember, and I've been around here as long as he has. So, you know, she never missed a game, always there whenever he needed something.
Celina's pride for Key not only shows in the Volunteer State, it poured into Bowling Green, Kentucky during Key's freshman season.
Easier trip than the folks from Clay County, as we got a Tyriq contingency up here. It's crazy. He's got his own fan club here.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what you say, if you haven't been in that atmosphere in the community, to see those guys play and see Tyriq and his team play, you don't get it. But I think our guys did get a sense of it. And I told Coach Edwards, I think they could have a huge fundraiser just by printing royal blue shirts with his number on it. And I know there were a lot of them that were special made for it, but those people are always going to talk about that. His name's on the sign when you come into town, and that's something, and I tell our guys on this, you know, there's AAU's an important thing, but it's all about is your high school team, the memories that you have with the guys that you went to school with and the coaches you went to school with. They'll talk about that forever.
And I think that's something that maybe brought it full circle for the folks in Indiana to understand that, you know, wherever Tyriq goes, the town of Celina is following him, you know, and they love him, they appreciate him, and they're going to support him any way they can.
For more on Sycamore basketball and Tyreke Key, stay right here at GoSycamores.com.